So I want to take the time right now to apologize for the sound quality. If I'm going to be honest, we're missing our soundproofing film that we were supposed to install this week. And
why is that, dear?
oh God, it's because you made me watch house shows.
Me. I wanted to watch house shows one night, and then somebody decided every single day and morning since then he wanted to watch house shows instead of do real life things.
Well, I love being judgmental. From the comfort of my own couch, it's fantastic.
And you also like to be like, one day I want to have that, and never want to have that.
Well, okay, but at the same time, it is mostly the judgmental thing from my couch.
Okay, well, I mean, you are that every day, but... So, regardless, now we have no soundproofing foam, so we have echoes. Plus, you're sitting like 50 feet away from the microphone. So
I'm not sitting 50 feet from the microphone. Anyway, we're 5 minutes into our podcast, and we're already off topic.
Well, it wouldn't be our podcast if we didn't do that. So, what movie did we do this week?
Well, we did Kung Fu Panda.
Because it's the 10-year anniversary.
Yes, 10-year anniversary.
Oh, that makes me feel very old.
Very old. I have a confession about this. Originally, when this movie first came out, I avoided seeing it because I thought it was going to be terrible.
Oh no. Are you about to confess that you don't like Jack Black because we might have to break up?
I don't particularly care for Jack Black. But he's fine. I mean, it wasn't a Jack Black issue. It was I
feel my heart breaking.
It was an animated non-Disney movie that had a Kung Fu Panda.
Wait, are you also saying you don't like animated movies? I'm very confused and I'm starting to get
I just
very
assumed
nervous.
that it was going to be a terrible movie. And I would like to apologize because it was not a terrible movie. It was actually very good.
Judgy McJudgerson over here.
Well, that's what I like about the house shows, obviously.
Moving on. Okay, so you decided that it wasn't that bad. So do you want to say briefly what it's about briefly?
Well, before we get to the summation or the summary of the movie... I'm Tyler.
I'm Shay.
And this is Cinematically Correct. So, again, the movie is Kung Fu Panda. It's about this overweight panda who is a Kung Fu fanatic. And he gets selected to be the prophesized dragon warrior to fight evil. And that's basically the movie.
Yeah, that's basically the movie. So, the beginning of the movie, they have that... what do you call it? Stop motion animation? I'm not sure exactly what you call it, but...
Well, it was regular animation rather than the computer CGI.
Yeah, but it was more like two-dimensional.
Yes, it was.
So they said that style was because they were trying to emulate shadow puppetry.
Right.
Which I thought was cool. I didn't even know anything about shadow puppetry until this movie because I looked it up. So yeah,
you know everything about shadow puppetry now, don't you?
I don't. But I just thought it was a cool little thing because I didn't know that before researching for this movie. So because I always thought that was interesting how it was very starkly different than the rest of the movie.
Right. So that was very well done, and they could have made the whole movie that way, and it would have been just as good.
Yeah, they could have.
I mean, the whole movie was really well done. To the point where I believe the Chinese government endorsed the film and wanted to know why they couldn't make movies about China.
So I read that on Reddit too, but it wasn't that the Chinese government was saying that. Chinese government did say that it was a good film and it did showcase them very well, but people were saying, why didn't China come up with this? And the response from China was, well, our population has an interest in Western culture, and we've already seen all the Chinese culture type things, so we don't need to rehash it. But they did say this movie was very well done.
So this movie was very well done, very philosophical for an animated movie, and it brought around a lot of things that I didn't really expect.
Okay, starting closer to the beginning of the movie, maybe with the noodle fulfill your destiny and this isn't my destiny type thing.
Well, it was the whole all parents try to force their ideal onto their children of what they want for their kids, and it's not what the kid wants most of the time.
That's
so
fair.
He wants them to be a noodle restaurant owner, and he has no interest in that whatsoever. He's doing it to make his dad happy.
True. I mean, I think I liked the fact that they made the father a relatable, happy, nice father. They didn't make him an abusive father where it was you're gonna run my business whether you like it or not. they made him like almost like a little old man that you just can't hate. Like he's adorable and
he adopted a panda as a duck.
Right. So you could tell he had the best intentions. So there was no way you could dislike him, even though he was trying to force his dreams on his son. You were still like, I still bless his heart. I love this man. And he just wants what's best for his son, and he's trying to give him what he can, what he has. So I like that they did that, because they could have gone the other way with that.
Well, they could have. I mean, it was just one of those things where he was a bit part, but he killed it, the actor.
I don't know who it was, actually. I didn't look him up.
He's been in a lot of things. He's done a lot of voice work. He was in Mulan.
Oh, all right. Well, he was just adorable. He just reminded me of one of those little old mans that you just want to hug all the time.
I also like the things happen only because you do things. So if you are trying to prevent the future, the things that you do cause the future to happen. Where they are worried about the snow leopard dude Tai Lung escaping, so they send the duck to go check on things, and then that's how he escapes, because of the feather.
Agreed. I like that. I mean, I think a lot of times we think that things happen to us rather than that things happen because of us, and this is a reminder that things happen because we make them happen, not because things don't happen to us.
It's a weird thing where there's no... Everything is already set, and because you're worried about something happening, the things you're going to do differently are going to make that happen, which is a weird kind of juxtaposition. It's from... the most obvious example of that is Terminator that I can think of, where it's... they send a robot back in time to kill her, and the guy that's sent back to protect her is the father of the person they were trying to kill in the first place.
Oh, for some reason, I can't remember the plot line of Terminator. It's been a little too long, but nice.
I do want to say that when he's serving the noodles at the very beginning of the movie, I have to mention this because it's a kid's movie, and you thought his balls were in the soup.
Oh my god. First of all, we rewound it, and even looking at it again, I can understand why I made the mistake, because...
It was his tail.
Yeah, but they zoomed in, so all you see is the black ball tail.
It's a PG movie. What do you mean?
Zoomed in, so you just see a ball, which happens to be a tail, but a ball in soup.
Well, yes, it's a PG movie. They're not going to put panda balls in a PG-13 movie.
I'm sorry, but like what is it? Ariel's castle or something like that has a penis in it. Like, I mean, Disney likes to hide things. I'm just saying. This
is Pixar. Or no, it's not Pixar. This is DreamWorks, not Disney.
It doesn't matter. Animated movies are all the same. Plus, it's Jack Black. Let's just get that out there right off the bat. I love him to death, but Pick a Destiny is not tame.
That's not this movie.
Okay, but...
It's a different Jack Black movie.
You might have thought he was being funny. There had to have been some connotation. They zoomed in so much. They could have showed his whole butt, but they didn't.
Yes, I know, but I had to mention that because...
I'm sorry, but it did
You
not
thought they were going to throw panda balls to children.
It did not detract from me wanting the noodles, did it?
No, that's not. That's true. We did have Chinese specifically because of this movie.
No, we had noodles.
Yeah, we had noodles.
So, clearly, panda balls and my noodles did not detract from me wanting noodles. So, I don't know what that says about this movie. It's clearly very good at making you want noodles. So, Little Old Man was a good salesman.
Subliminal messaging and subliminal marketing.
Exactly. So...
We didn't get cup of noodles or cup noodles.
We're not going all the way back to Manchurian Candidate right now, because that debate still makes my head scratch.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. They have the competition for Dragon Warrior, and they pick Po, the panda.
Yeah, because of the series of unfortunate events. I mean, really. That was... First of all, I felt so bad for him. Trying to climb over that wall and trying to see... He was even just happy peeking in the door. He's like, oh my god. Like, he was just happy to be in the area of everything happening. So, when the rockets went off and his chair went flying, and I just felt so bad for him, because it has to be so embarrassing, and it's just...
Well, it was his life dream. He's idolized martial arts and kung fu his whole life, and then he's out looking in, and he's just missing the whole show.
Right.
And then he lands there as the show is over, and gets picked the Dragon Warrior.
Right.
Which I guess fairly was his dream. I mean, he would love that, and he did love that, but...
And I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's also a metaphor because he's an outsider who gets brought into the Kung Fu world and becomes the star of the show, where he just made an entrance like the star of the show.
Yeah. I love how, this is later in the movie where he's saying, oh, so Yugoi was a crazy old turtle after all. Because everyone's thinking that when he gets selected, like, what? No. And the turtle old dude knew what he was doing. Okay,
so do you want to talk about Yugoi a little bit since you brought him up?
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about Yugoi.
Well, I mean, so, first of all, I thought he was hilarious. He was just, man of few words, but he was, I just liked his character. He reminded me of Crush from Finding Nemo. Like, I couldn't help it. Then, also, when he died, and I'm going to put that in quotes because they made it so he, like, vaporized, but, it reminded me, and even the song reminded me of, The Colors of the Wind in Pocahontas.
Okay.
And, like, I couldn't get it out of my head. Like, after I heard it, it just continued to hear it every time I heard the song again, because they played the song again a few times in the movie.
Right.
So I don't know if that was intentional. I couldn't find it anywhere. I Googled around, and I couldn't find anything referring to it. But, I mean, you know the part in Colors of the Wind where they, like, things, like, vaporize, and it's like...
Yes.
So, was there a connection there? I know it's not the same people, but I
took it a different way. So, I thought that he was the wise old Eastern philosopher character, and then when he did that, I took it as a parallel of the Buddha.
Okay.
Attaining enlightenment.
Did Buddhas vaporize?
He attained enlightenment and then became Buddha.
Okay, that makes sense too. I don't know. It just, that's what I thought of, but that does make sense.
I'm not a Buddhist, so based on my limited understanding of Buddhism, that's where I thought they were going.
Okay, that makes sense within the realm of the movie.
I'm very much not an expert.
Yeah. So I guess then I just made all of that up, and it's totally not founded. Cool, great.
Well, I like some of the names of the characters.
Okay, like?
Like Shifu, which means teacher or master.
Okay, that makes sense, obviously.
Well, it's just, I picked up on that right away. Some of them I had no idea.
Oh, okay, so what's Po mean?
No, I picked up on that one right away because I've seen several Kung Fu movies where it's Shifu, and they're always talking about the master.
Right.
Or to the master. Now, I mean, Chorgum prison is Cantonese for go to prison.
Nice.
Or sit in prison.
Direct.
Yeah. Tai Lung is Great Dragon or Big Dragon, which is probably why he thought he was...
I looked that one up, so he was supposed to be the Dragon Warrior.
Well, I can understand his confusion if it's his goddamn name.
Well, he probably got named that, I don't know if they said it, but by Shifu, because Shifu found him and raised him and was raising him to be the Dragon Warrior. That's what he said to him when he fought him, was like, hey, you made me think I was supposed to be this. Right. So my guess is he was named that by Shifu.
Well, probably. I mean, he was probably given that name intentionally, and then it's just the whole self-fulfilling prophecy of him wanting it because it's his name, and then...
Right. One thing I want to talk about before we move past it is I really liked how this is one of the few animated movies I can think of that they deal with adoption on both Poe's side and Tai Long's side. So,
I mean, yeah, I don't... the only other one that I can think of is Fox and the Hound, and that's interspecies adoption as a pet. I mean...
okay. It's just this one really deals with that topic, and I don't know a lot of animated films that do, and I mean, just... I think that's a topic that a lot of kids really kind of need, because there's a lot of kids out there that are adopted that don't really understand how common it is. So I think it's an important topic. I mean, obviously my sister's adopted, and I'm sure you know people that are adopted.
I do, and it's one of those things where they don't, for whatever reason, think that they're as good as just natural children, which I've never understood. There's a comedian that talks about it. It's like, you're talking about having sex is way easier than adopting a kid.
Adopting is not cheap.
Adopting is not cheap. It's a long process. You were chosen specifically. They went through an effort to get you.
Right. I mean, I know with my sister, they went through movies and like paperwork and whatever, like literally saying like, don't want that one, don't want that one, don't want that one. Oh, this one looks good. Like, and then they sat down there like, okay, these are my top 5. Like, they really spent time, where with like me, it's just, you get what you get. Like,
well, any kid that's born naturally, that's what you get. We don't have the ability at the moment. We do, but it's ludicrously expensive to pick like features and so forth.
right.
I mean,
but I liked the fact that on both sides, even with the protagonist and the antagonist, the parents were very good adoptive parents. There was no like, you know, you weren't my child, like on either side, and you could see why Shifu might say like, you know, you weren't really my child and like whatever, but he didn't. He said, I loved you too much and this is why this happened. Like,
well, kids don't understand that parents will always see you in a positive light because you're their child. And I mean, my parents love me unconditionally, your parents love you unconditionally. It kind of just happens. And that leads to a lot of weird things where parents will not see any negative aspects, which is what happens for Tai Lung, where his pride over his martial arts ability is blocking his judgment of, well, he's a terrible person.
right.
So I did like that aspect of it. So spectacular cast in terms of every character.
Okay, like?
Well, Jack Black was very well cast for the panda.
See, there's a debate about that on the internet.
No, he killed it. He killed it.
Or a lot of people saying that he shouldn't have played the panda, and I mean, I love him, so I mean, he can play anything he wants to play, and I'm just gonna love him anyway. But a lot of people are saying that he wasn't the best voice for the panda.
Dustin Hoffman for Shifu. He was a fantastic... Well, Jack Black was fantastic.
Okay.
So
And Lucy Liu?
Lucy Liu, Viper. Seth Rogen as the, the praying mantis.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Chan as the monkey.
Jack Black's wife as the bunny.
I had no idea she was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Then Angelina Jolie, as Tigress, the Cabbages guy from Avatar. I don't know his actual name as the dad. I just know he screams "my cabbages" over and over again. It was just fantastic cast. They all worked well together in terms of their voices, and it had a nice balance or nice flow to it for their interplay between characters. Because I can totally see Angelina Jolie wanting to rip off a face.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's not my favorite actress in the world, but she was good in this.
Exactly. I want to know, how logistically can you train someone to beat that character, the villain, Tai Lung? How do you train someone to beat him in a day and a half?
Well, I mean, so this movie isn't about being able to be trained to do it. This movie, I think, part of it is talking about old school kung fu versus new, and like the idea that being trained in your archaic ways isn't the way to beat somebody nowadays. Like, you need to be more reactive rather than sedentary.
Well, it's just that montage took way more time than it would have taken him to get there. In my opinion.
Well, they have to have an epic montage considering it's a kung fu movie. They have to.
They had to. I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, come on. Maybe release him from prison later in the movie after they started the training because they're worried about it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Poe doesn't beat him because he beats him kung fu-wise. He beats him for, like, all of these random events that he bounces off of him.
Well, he beat him by being fat.
Well, okay, and that's probably part of something we should talk about in the movie, too, is that if this movie was released now, this might be considered fat shaming. Because the amount of times he gets made fun of for his weight and the amount of times they focus on that.
Well, yeah, but then it comes back to being the way that he wins in the end, and there's nothing wrong with him. So it has a positive message at the end of the movie, but they are kind of brutal.
There's nothing wrong with him being fat. They just kind of say, but you are what you are.
Right.
So but they're kind of mean at the beginning.
Well, they are very mean, and at the beginning of the movie, it's definitely fat shaming because they're just, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Where they're like, you fat ass. Just, you suck.
Well, I mean, they even train him by basically dangling a cookie in front of his face type situation. And that's like kind of a trope that I've heard all the time where you put like a cookie in front of a treadmill to get the fat person to lose weight.
Well, I think it's more, you have to find what works for that person rather than forcing your system onto someone where it won't work.
Well, of course, but it's
that's
still dangling food in front of his face.
Yes, I mean, some people like the structured system. Some people like incentives. So it just, you have to cater it, tailor it to that person to get the best results.
Still not the best message,
No.
but sure, yeah, yeah.
So,
one thing I liked about the movie is the catchphrase, because I have catchphrases all the time. Can't help it. I say the same word over and over again.
yes, you say the same 5 words as every word that you ever say.
Yeah, like dingbat.
Or IDK.
My BFF Jill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So catchphrases are my thing. So when the catchphrase skadoosh came up, I was just so excited about it, and apparently it came from Skidoo 21, which means let's get a move on. And it was actually an accident that it even got into the movie. Jack Black was just kind of like spitballing, and that came to be, and decided that needed to be the catchphrase in the movie. I think they liked it so much that they inserted it into the trailer of the movie to get it kind of caught on before.
So it tested well, obviously, and they kept it in the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's clever of Jack Black to get douche into a PG movie.
It's not from that. It means let's get a move on. It's from, he says 23 Skidoo is his inspiration for it.
Well, be that as it may, it's still clever on his part to get that into a PG movie.
You're an awful person, but that was not the point of it. But I'm all about catchphrases, so now I have to find a way to intertwine skadoosh into my daily repertoire.
Great. So that's going to be my life now.
Yep.
I
became my BFF Jill. Skadoosh!
No,
Yeah.
Stop,
Yeah.
just stop.
No? Okay, well. The other thing I wanted to say is this movie also is not helping our Massachusetts is in a bad light in cinema film, or in
our cinema?
Trope.
Why?
Well, so you didn't hear, apparently, but Jamie Gordon of Massachusetts filed a lawsuit that he came up with this movie, and he ended up having to pay $3 million in legal fees because he traced pictures of the Lion King coloring book to use as proof that he came up with this before the movie came to be.
That sucks for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think that has anything to do with him being from Boston. I think that has to do with him trying to cash in and being a shitty person.
Well, of course it does, but he is from Massachusetts, so yet again, there's more Massachusetts negative light being put on this. But I haven't seen many movies where people are claiming that it's their own, but he did. He claimed that he came up with a panda movie.
Well, there's a Harry Potter controversy, if I remember correctly, where some guy said that he came up with Harry Potter before J.K. Rowling.
It's so ridiculous, just money chasers. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because that was a big deal apparently, and he had to pay $3 million.
Well, you have to pay your and their legal fees. That's how that works. I like that there was a lot of subtle touches to this movie where each one of the 5 martial art characters, their martial art style is based off of that actual animal.
Oh, really?
So this is praying mantis style, monkey style, tiger style.
I didn't even think of that. But that's really cool. Did you come up with that on your own? Or did
No,
you...
I looked that up.
Okay, just want to make
I'm
sure.
not that much of it. I don't have any way to tell the difference between different styles of martial arts. As much as that would be awesome.
Okay, so that is pretty cool. But I think we jumped around a bit. So
Yes, we have jumped around quite a bit, actually. Where would you like to go back to?
I'm trying to think of what we missed because,
I want to know, does this count as a Jackie Chan movie? Because it has Jackie Chan in it, but it's not really...
It's better than some of his movies, so sure.
What do you mean better than some of his movies, such as?
The Foreigner.
All right, this is a hotly contested thing that is about our relationship and not anything other than that.
No, it's more than that. It was a boring movie.
Well, it has to do with this was our first date night movie from being a couple.
Well, yeah, because somebody didn't want to see Annabelle or whatever movie it was.
Yeah, because it would have been awful.
wouldn't have been awful, and that's not how movies work. You don't just say, I don't want to see it, so we're going to see whatever's out there, and I'm going to make you fall asleep at 10 o'clock at night.
But
that's not how dates work.
It wasn't that bad a movie.
It was bad. You even admitted it was bad. You're just fighting for it now because you're on a recorded line, but it was bad.
It was not that bad. It was fine. It wasn't the best Jackie Chan movie I've ever seen, but...
It was boring.
Oh my god. Fine. You just can't appreciate Jackie Chan movies.
No, I can't appreciate middle-aged cinema, I guess. Because my parents loved it.
So, I just don't understand that. I mean, it was fine. It was a little bit less action than normal, but it was...
Little bit less?
Well, it was more suspense. It was more...
There was no suspense. It was just basically watching an action movie with a guy with a cane is how it felt.
Wow. Damn. Okay, Jackie Chan, I love you. She's on her own on this one.
No. I love Jackie Chan. I think that's why I was so disappointed. It wasn't like anything he's done before. It was
very different. It did seem that he didn't use any of the like signature kung fu and martial arts with random everyday objects where he turns a ladder into a spinning weapon of death.
Right. But anyways, this is not a podcast about The Foreigner, so maybe we'll do that at some point so we can hate on it, but until then.
So does it count as a Jackie Chan movie? Because it's a martial arts movie with kung fu.
Sure, he needs another pro in the pro column to outweigh the con of Foreigner, so sure.
Yes, because his body of work is not enough on its own. He's been in a lot of movies.
That's like a deadweight movie. It's like adding like a ton to a lot more than that. So
it's weird. I like talking about Jackie Chan. He's a classically trained Chinese opera singer. Most people don't know that.
Okay, well, I mean, let's just
throw that in there.
Yeah, we just want to build it back up after we tore it down.
Yeah,
got it.
Basically,
mm-hmm.
There's a lot to like about Jackie Chan.
But he is not a main character in this
movie. No, he's not.
So
he's an extra ancillary character.
Not focus.
Can I just say that I totally understand that fight for the dumpling? Speaking as a person that loves Chinese dumplings when they're fighting in that section of the movie.
You jumped, but you're not talking about a fight. You're talking about when they were training.
They were fighting over dumpling in training.
I mean, the only thing I don't understand about that is how he could use those chopsticks like that when he doesn't even have opposable thumbs.
It's because it's an animated movie and they needed it to work.
I can't even use chopsticks at all. I can't even break apart the chopsticks when they come to you from...
Chopsticks aren't that hard to use.
No, when they come to you with that little wooden part on the bottom, I can't break it.
Why?
I don't know. I just can't. We just went to a Chinese place last week. I couldn't break it.
Yes, we did. And it was awesome.
Yeah,
First ever hibachi.
Yeah, so I can't break it.
But chopsticks... I would have totally been fighting over that dumpling. Are you kidding me? Why didn't you just stab the dumpling in the middle with the chopsticks so that you can't lose it?
It's not part of the training.
It would have gotten you the dumpling.
That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. And probably not, because that little Shifu dude was crafty.
Who was a red panda? So it's a panda being taught by a red panda, which I thought was clever.
Oh, I didn't really think of it that way, but yeah, that's clever.
I don't know. It just... There are a lot of little subtle touches like that in the movie. So... It's...
All right, before we end this podcast, I did want to do at least the audience ask section. Even though our whole thing has been completely out of order, at least we can try to get some structure back.
Salvage it. Get it back on track. That's your job.
Yeah.
You do that better than I do.
So I'll start with the funny question from More Gooder Than Podcast. Do you think your co-host could train to be a kung fu master in a month? And this is for either co-host to answer.
I don't think you can.
You trying to say I'm not better than a chubby panda? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying that you have horrible asthma.
What are you trying to say?
I mean, you probably could. I think it would take longer than a month.
Well, I think that since a panda was able to do it, the body types are the same, so you could probably do it.
Ow! Wow! Oh, that's...
You went brutal, so I'll go brutal. So
I'm not that big.
I said yes, didn't I?
I said yes. It'd just take you more than a month.
Well, I didn't say that. I said you could do it in a month because the panda did. So.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Even though you called me fat.
Well, I had to tell it how it is.
Really?
They can't see you.
I'm not that fat.
You could be.
Yes, I could if I sat down and ate nothing but Chinese food and junk food.
Yeah, but they can't see you, so I can create my own narrative.
I don't weigh 400 pounds.
Well, you never know. Anyway, the other question is from Fleet Street 186, and it says, what are your thoughts on Shifu's character development and relationship with Poe? I find his loyalty and willingness to make a difference admirable despite his troubled past with his son.
I think he realized the error of his way in terms of he put so much effort and pride into teaching Tai Lung how to use Kung Fu, and then it was used the wrong way in terms of to hurt people.
Right.
And so it comes down to him trusting Poe because Poe is such a nice, caring, happy person, and he's going to use it for the right reasons.
Right.
To get everything back in balance. It's a nice yin-yang kind of thing where its personalities are...
Doesn't this happen in Karate Kid 2? Like, Karate Kid as well, not Karate Kid 2. Where I forget who the other person was, but there was another person that had been trained by Mr. Miyagi prior to, I think Danny is his name or something like that.
Daniel-san.
Yeah. That he ended up having to, like, fight against because he became, like, not a good character.
That's fair. I mean, Karate Kid and Kung Fu Panda are basically the same theme. Good versus evil, the classic fight. But that's an excellent point. What else would you like to talk about?
Oh, the only other thing I had on my notes was about the rope bridges.
Oh, God. No, fuck that bridge.
But where are those in real life? Because I see them. They were in Shrek. There was a rope bridge. There's plenty of movies where there's rope bridges.
I think it's a movie trope. I don't think they actually exist. God, I hope they don't actually exist somewhere.
Well, I want them to so that I can bring you on one because I know you'd hate it.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Why? Why would you do that? They're just no.
Is DreamWorks associated with Universal by any chance?
I don't actually know.
Because wouldn't it be cool to have like a ride that's like a rope bridge and it shakes and moves instead of like a roller coaster?
That sounds horrible.
It could be like a trampoline at the bottom so you don't die.
That sounds horrible. No, just
it sounds wonderful.
No. There is a glass bridge in China, and if you walk on it, it's high up in the mountains on a cliff, and then when you walk on it, there's a simulated glass cracking.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. I like the fake rope bridge with the trampoline underneath so I don't die. That's what I would prefer.
But it's fake glass cracking. They just do it to screw with you. And it's terrifying.
Still sounds terrible. I'm not a fan.
No, I just hated that bridge the whole way around. Like, that's my nightmare.
So now, just as an FYI, so for the podcast, 2 things that you still need to do is eat a hot dog and now go on a rope bridge. If
Neither of those are happening.
So if anybody knows of a rope bridge that exists in the world, we travel all the time, so we're totally down for suggestions. Just send us an email at CinematicallyCorrect
Neither is happening.
gmail.com. Don't listen to him. It's going to happen, just like he's going to eat a hot dog.
I'm not going to eat a hot dog. That's not happening, and I'm not going on the bridge because I choose life.
So if you want him to eat a hot dog, also send us an email at cinematicallycorrect@gmail.com. He loves persistent. Emails, so if you do, he'll probably do it.
God, you're persistent. Any other audience asks or any other questions?
I think that's good for now. I might release one more on Twitter, which is CinematicallyC. Because there is one more that I kind of want to talk about, but I don't want to do too many on the podcast, considering we're at 34 minutes. So what movie are we doing next week?
Next week, it's Big Trouble, Little China.
Which has Jackie Chan in it, right?
It has Jackie Chan in it. It also has the My Cabbages guy. Apparently
Which by next week we will know his name, because this is ridiculous.
I don't know. It's just, I've never seen it, you've never seen it, and we're going to get a lot of flack for that, admitting that.
Because we've heard about it a lot on a lot of different movie podcasts and in other formats.
We had to get it on the list because it's part of our education at this point to get it done. Right,
and your pick, so I have to sedentally accept the fact that you are making me do 2 Jackie Chan movies in a row, which I do not like doing.
You chose this one.
I did not. This is your pick.
I chose Kung Fu Panda?
No, Kung Fu Panda was anniversary edition. Nobody chose it.
So
the calendar chose it.
I chose one Kung Fu movie, and I don't even know if it's a Kung Fu movie because it's supposed to be a comedy action movie.
And you picked a Jackie Chan movie. 2 Jackie Chan movies in a row.
Jackie Chan is a minor character to my understanding in that movie.
And as he was in Kung Fu Panda. So.
Right. So it's not anything that I'm doing to you intentionally.
Yeah, well, it's just ignorance, I guess.
Wow.
Looking forward to next week.
Well, you have a couple thank yous before we wrap up.
Yep, I just wanted to thank Jake at Athos Music for our intro and outro music.